Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Luna and Morpho. We are so excited to drop in today for this timeless reading. We're really just keeping the intention open, asking God, Source, Universe, Spirit, your higher self, what you need to know today, what the collective needs to know, just kind of tuning into the current energies. So we're really excited to dive in. But before we get started, we just wanted to invite you to arrive. Go ahead and begin just tuning into your breath, maybe taking some deep breaths if that feels good. Just letting this moment, this video, be a little retreat for you in your day, letting go of what's been happening so far, letting go of what's coming up later in the day, and just being here now. We know that if you found this video, if you're here, you are meant to be here, and there is a message that's waiting to find you. So get comfy, get cozy, breathe, and let's just be here together for this reading today. I also just want to invite you to set an intention for this reading today. If there's a particular question that you would like to ask, if there's a sign that you've been waiting for, if there's something you've been navigating through and you'd like to put that energy into the reading today, asking for maybe insight or guidance, just intending to be present and to feel loved, that's beautiful too. So go ahead and set that intention as Tilly and I shuffle the cards and see what kind of guidance wants to find us today. Mm-hmm. Tilly, do you have a particular intention that you're setting for this reading?
Just kind of, yeah, my intention is just for a collective kind of reading about where we're at. And then also I'm going to pull one more card about any where we're at, and then any messages. I don't know why I'm hearing to put us on the highest timeline.
Yeah, absolutely.
Let me grab my other deck. Okay. What is your intention, Lindsay?
I'm really asking, at least with this first deck, just asking, where are we being asked to heal right now? Where are we being asked to heal? What's coming up for the collective to heal at this time? Through my own 101, one-on-one tarot readings this week, a lot of people have just been expressing feelings kind of being triggered, or things from the past kind of coming back up in their lives. It's just kind of a theme that I've noticed. So I'm just curious in the collective, what's being asked to be seen, what's being asked to heal, and just kind of bringing that to the surface today, because you can't change something that you're unaware of, or it's really hard to change something that you're unaware of a lot of the time. So bringing everything to the surface, bringing it into our conscious awareness is already the first step to changing, to healing, to growing, to moving forward. So yeah, just what wants to be seen today?
It was really cute because with this deck, I was asking what does our little inner child want us to know? So
I love that.
Okay. Ooh. Ooh.
Wow. Okay. So would you like to start? What are you seeing? What cards do you have? What decks did you use? What's coming up?
So I started with the Sacred Rebels Oracle deck. This is one of my favorite decks ever. I just love the artwork. And the card I got for where are we currently at, I got 33, Heaven Sent, which I just love this card. It feels like we're getting a lot of, to me, it just feels like, well, I'm getting a few messages. It feels like a lot of people might be living in their mind a lot, just kind of thinking a lot, very up in their head and maybe not so much in their body. But also with the number 33, I always think of like the master number and like self mastery. So it may even be that you're kind of focused on your own like inward journey as well, is kind of what I'm getting. What are you getting from this card, Lindsay? I feel like you had like a download as soon as I put it up.
I did. Well, it's interesting because just looking at that card, I can feel my third eye. I'm like getting an activation just from that card. And it's so interesting that 33 came up because I used two decks and I got three cards and three cards. And we were just talking about the number 333. So that's definitely an angel number coming through. And when I think of the number 333, I think of expansion
Mm.
because three represents unity and things coming together, but it also represents our, like, as things come together, it's for our soul growth. It's the way that the universe, our solar system, is constantly expanding, always in physics and mathematics. Like, it's constantly growing. And so there's something about that 333 energy that is soul expansion. A lot of the times people think of the number five as like growth and expansion, but that's kind of like, I think of the number five as something happening right now. It's a quick change, it's a transition. But three is more like a soul growth, and it is more on a collective level where it's a little bit softer. You might not be able to see it in the physical world immediately, but it's more of this feeling of like, I think I'm being called towards something. I think something is being activated within me. So a lot of people might be feeling some creative callings right now, called to make changes in their lives, the kind that really lights you up. It's the kind of change that is inspiring. It's allowing us to find deeper fulfillment. So with this card, this heaven sent card, I can't help but just notice all the light that's coming in the third eye, that's coming in the crown chakra. So it's a very spiritual card to me, that's almost us receiving inspired ideas, downloads, insights. And this card is kind of coming up to say you can trust what's coming through. And I think that trust is so huge. I have a card in here that also says trust. And it just feels like some of us have actually been receiving all of the right ideas and receiving the right insight and guidance, but maybe we're just not trusting it as actually being heaven sent. We're thinking that these ideas are random or they're silly. We're having trouble trusting ourselves. So to your point, Tilly, of having people maybe being really caught in our minds, like thinking a lot, overthinking, overanalyzing, it might be that energy right now of like, a lot of ideas are coming in, but how can I trust them? How can I move forward with them? And I think the answer here that this card is bringing up is to trust that these ideas, this inspired action that you want to take, is divinely sent, is coming from your higher self. And just tuning into your intuition with that and kind of walking the line, towing the edge between fear and growth, fear and intuition, knowing it's time to expand and knowing the difference, you know.
I love that you just said that because we have come to the edge on this one too, of like knowing like where, when. I love this one because it's like has all the roses too. And it's like coming right to the edge of like, yeah, I love that you said when to, knowing when, like coming next to your fears basically, and knowing like kind of where you're at exactly. I love that.
I love that so much. I also have a card with roses on them too. Um, so there's something that's so beautiful. I have a lot of really beautiful pink roses right next to me. I've been working with the rose a lot, and I was actually journaling this morning about what the rose represents as a symbol, and it can represent many things, but it's like this. The rose is 333 to me. It's light pink energy. Like I see it all as being that. But the rose represents this gentle opening and kind of trusting the timing of life. Like no one tells the rose when to bloom. It never blooms too soon or too late. It just blooms. And with every like petal it unfurls, the rose is able to reveal more of itself. So even though we are being asked to maybe expand or try new things or be creative, it's like our rose has been in a tight bud and it's just being asked to open, and we are opening a little bit, and it might be like, oh my gosh, what am I going to find in here? Like there's all of these layers and crevices and like hidden corners that are dark and I can't see in there yet, kind of. But trusting that being asked to open, being asked to bloom, being asked to have like an open palms instead of closed fists, requires this trust, requires this surrender. And I think the rose represents the grace with being able to open so beautifully and calmly, and having that trust that there's a force bigger than you that is helping control the timing of this opening. And it's not just going to ask you to explode open too soon, or, not fighting that growth, I guess, just allowing it to happen.
Mm, I love that. I love that. So this is when we were, I forgot what I wanted my intention to be for this one. I think it was what we could do to, I remember what it was. It was how we could align with the highest timeline. And it says free from judgment, free to love. And I really feel like this is kind of, for some reason, I'm getting like a self-judgment thing, like not to judge ourselves and just really kind of love those parts of ourselves that are maybe even scared to bloom, like, and even like giving yourself some grace and like these things. But I feel like these ones together, I love these together. Free from judgment, free to love, and then heaven sent. But if this is like where we're at and this is how to align with the highest timeline, I think, again, I mean, my message that I got like right off the bat with this one was like, if you're in your thoughts too much, or if you've got a lot going on in your head and it's almost like you're like, like this one just makes it feel like whatever is happening, just to like, can you not judge where you're at? Can you just like be in the frequency of love and just love yourself? If you're like, oh, I've noticed I'm up in my head again, or I'm thinking this too much, or I'm like having thoughts of anxiety, can you just love yourself there, as opposed to being like, oh, why do I keep doing this, or why do I keep doing this pattern, or why am I still stuck in this thing, or can you just like love yourself in that place and just release the judgment around it? Do you get anything with that one, Lindsay, on your end?
I just want to second and validate what you said. I feel the same thing. Yeah, for anyone that's receiving those divine downloads but are feeling stuck in their head, like they can't trust, and then are having a hard time getting out of that. Why is this so confusing? Why is it hard? Why am I so stuck in my head? Just loving that part of you that's meeting resistance. That is you coming to the edge. That resistance you feel around that next idea, or what you're being asked to grow into, or maybe the newness that's happening in your life. That resistance isn't here to punish you or show you where you're not good enough or show you what's wrong with you. That resistance is here to show you what you're going to be growing through next. It reminds me of Alice in Wonderland. When Alice in Wonderland goes down the rabbit hole and she's moving through this whole realm. If you haven't seen the movie, I highly suggest. Tilly loves the Tim Burton version. She suggested it to me and it changed my life, so you should watch it. But Alice ends up finding and meeting her Jabberwocky. And Jabberwocky to me really ends up being representative of our fears. So meeting that edge, meeting that fear, it's not here to hold us back. It's showing us what we're going to grow through next, what we're going to love next, what we're going to conquer next, maybe in some ways, and not feel like we're unworthy of meeting that fear, but that we're actually like, you know what? I am that Alice. Like, I'm going to meet this. I'm going to learn from this. I'm going to move through this experience and see what happens. So it's a really beautiful message. And I personally can relate to this so much. So yeah, this is making a lot of sense to me.
I'm also getting this message too, like if you see this girl, she's just dancing. She's not like, oh no, I'm gonna fall or I'm gonna this. She's just doing her dance. And I'm getting this message of like, just do what you like, just do it for the love of it, of like the message is really interesting. It's like, okay, so it can be like really scary if you're like, okay, I'll just use myself as an example with like, because I can relate to this too, of like, I want to start making clothes. And yesterday my mom was like, well, how are you going to do that? You're going to like mass produce it and all these things to make. And I'm like, no, but like when I came and it was like really stressing me out. And I was like, well, actually, I don't really care about the money so much. I just want to do it because I love doing it. And like that, when I came back to this frequency of love, as opposed to like, well, what about this, or what about that, or what about this, or how am I going to make it like this, or how am I going to force it to be this thing or this thing? It's like when you just come back to a frequency of love and just release the judgment on it, it's like you can just dance so freely and find the new edges. And I feel like I really love that of like, if there's something that you're wanting to do, we can all get so caught up in this thing of like, well, is that going to make me money, or is that going to do this or this or this or this? And it kind of takes the love out of it. And sometimes we just don't even do the thing because we're like, well, is that going to, how am I going to make that work? Or how am I going to da da da? And as opposed to just, I'm going to create because I want to create and I love doing this thing. And maybe that's the end goal. Is you just enjoy doing the thing. And so I feel like there are some people out there that may be feeling a similar energy with something that you're doing, of like, or you have something in the works or something and you're like, this isn't going how I want it to go, or da 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 da. And it's like, are you doing it because of that, or just letting go of the judgment around it and just doing it because you love doing it? That was my message.
So beautiful. So
Do
beautiful. I love that so much.
you have anything to add to that, Lindsay? I'd love to hear what you like, how you said that resonates with you. Like, what are you feeling with that?
Yeah, I mean, I've been through so many transitions recently. I just moved into a new home. I entered a new decade with my age. My birthday just happened. I'm getting ready to become a Reiki master teacher for the first time and lead a group Reiki attunement. And there's a lot of excitement when you're moving into things that you love. All of these spaces that I'm in, I've chosen to be in. I'm excited to be there. And they are asking me to grow. And so it reminds me of when like it's almost like you want to take a vacation, or like I'll put it this way. It's like wanting to go on a roller coaster ride, and you look at that roller coaster ride and you're like, "Oh my gosh, that'd be so fun. I'm totally going to go on that." And so you like get in line and you wait and you're all excited, and then you finally get in the seat and you strap on, the seat belt, and then it starts moving, and all of a sudden you can be like, "Oh my gosh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Like I didn't think about, look at how high that drop is. We're moving really fast. Who is this person next to me? Why did I sign up for this?" You can kind of have this like buyer's regret, or something. I don't even know what to call it. But then you're clicking up, like it's ramping up, and you're going uphill of this roller coaster, and you're like, I shouldn't have done this. What am I doing? Like it's overwhelming. It's a lot. There's so much that I didn't think about, because you move out of that place of this is going to be so fun, I love it, and move into the fear place of like, there's so much that I didn't consider. Logically, there's a lot of moving pieces now that I have to try to find a way of like organizing them all. And so I've been in that place for the last couple of weeks where I'm moving into all these spaces that I'm so excited about. But then the reality sets in, where if you look at moving in general, you have to figure out how you're going to move things from one place to another. You go through a lot of clearing and cleansing and purging of old things that you don't need. Then there's a huge influx of new things you need, maybe for the next space. And it's a huge death of who you were, the ending of one phase and the beginning of another. And I've met that in so many places in my life all at one time, that it feels like I'm, carrying like a lot of spinning plates in the air and trying to like hold them all up. And it's been really stressful. And I met myself a couple of days ago, and I can tell when I'm really in this place because I start meditating less. Like I wake up in the morning, and instead of being like, I'm in my Zen place, I can't wait to meditate, I'm like, God, so much to do. Like I have to go do my to-do list and like organize my home and like do all these things. And I've had to, and it's so interesting because I just taught a course on this a couple of months ago, but I've had to switch from being disciplined and thinking I have to do this, I have to organize it, I have to hold it all, I have to figure it out. Moving from that discipline place into a movement of devotion where I'm showing up to things because I love it. I say, I get to do this today. I get to be in this space. And of the whole long to-do list I have and all the things that get to be organized and figured out, which one excites me the most in this moment? And can I trust that as long as I'm flowing towards that, that's where I'm meant to be? And the rest will kind of figure itself out. So it does require a lot of surrender. And it's that part of the roller coaster where you finally get to the tippy top and you're like, I'm on this ride. I can't get off now. I can either go down the other side of it screaming in fear, or I can kind of put my hands up and be like, what? So a couple of days ago, I reached that point where I was like, this is when I get to make the choice. Am I leaning into white knuckling this roller coaster ride and being like miserable that I'm on it? Or am I just opening my hands and being like, this is going to be the greatest adventure of all time? It's a lot happening at once. It's fast paced. And I can't wait to be just like along for this experience. So I think with that coming to the edge message here, um, playing between the feelings of fear and that expansion feeling, like that's why when we're growing as kids, they call them growing pains. Like our bones are stretching, our skin is stretching, like every part of us, mind, body, and soul is stretching. And that can be uncomfortable. And it's so exciting, it's thrilling, it's us becoming more of who we really want to be, who we're meant to be, who we're choosing to be. So can it be both? Can you be in the expansion of it and remember that we're expanding into the person that we've chosen to become? It's not like we're expanding into a version of us that we're like, no, I didn't want to be that person. Like we've chosen this. So there's also an element of flow here too. Like Spirit's giving me just a huge visual of water. And it's like, same thing with the roller coaster analogy. My guides love to speak in analogies, but you're on like a whitewater rafting and you're hitting the rapids, and you can either really exhaust yourself by trying to paddle backwards and get out of them, or you can just turn around and be like, this is the course that I set. I planned to go through these rapids. I'm prepared. I have everything I need. So I'm just going to sit here and like enjoy the bumps along the way and like have a good time. That's kind of the message here. Also, final thing coming through with the number three and 333. I always think of the Three of Cups, which is a card of celebration. It's clinking wine glasses, and just cheersing to life, celebrating. And so I feel like there's this energy too that Spirit's bringing through with this reading of the need to have more fun, like the invitation to have fun, to lean into the fun of it all and the excitement of what's growing now. Because I'm also hearing that seeds have been planted. And now it's like, if we're talking about the rose, right? The rose is finally ready to bloom. And so I think just sometimes there's that fear of like, but I've been in my bud for so long. I could be comfortable staying here. And Spirit's like, nope, can't hold back now. Like it's time for you to shine, baby. Like spread your wings, you know? So it's exciting. It's definitely exciting.
I like that. I love that. The last card I have is the one I asked for from the inner child, and it's a leg up, which I think is really cute because there's like a baby bear on
Oh,
But the message I actually got from this is like to bring your inner child with you wherever you're going, like to remember the inner child and to like bring it, not just like be like, oh, I have to do this, like kind of like you're saying too, of like there's a lot of things that can be like really adulty and really like even just like stressful and like all the things, but just to like kind of like you were saying, to like bring your inner child that would be like, oh, this is fun, like this is a cool thing. And like, so that's the message that I am actually getting from this one, is to bring your inner child with you. Come on.
also with that card, I'm hearing too, like, don't be afraid to ask for help.
Mm,
And I'm feeling that in a very like cosmic divine sense. Like, don't be afraid to be like, higher self, help me out. Like, give me strength, give me courage. God, source, universe, be with me. Angels, guide me. Like, sending up a prayer, sending out those positive intentions, just like we did at the beginning of this reading, setting an intention for moving forward helps you to come back to love. Like you were saying, come back to that love place, come back to joy, coming back to fun or curiosity, that openness. Setting an intention roots us down into something that we can kind of continue coming back into. And I do feel like we have a lot of universal cosmic help with us right now. But so I think some of us are shutting ourselves off from that help because we're in a place of control. Again, like white knuckling, gripping onto things. When we get afraid, it's like, I'm going to go into my shell and I'm going to think of the answer. I'm going to think, and like try to figure it out. When sometimes we put the thinking away and we're like, okay, I'm going to take a deep breath and just like, wow, look at like this world. It's so beautiful out here. Like I was so tunnel vision that I forgot that things are happening that are so much bigger than me. And when we can tap into that feeling, then thoughts come more easily. Those intuitive, gut feelings come more easily as well. So there's something about being open to receiving help and guidance is important too.
Beautiful. That's all I had. What did you have, Lindsay? And your intention was, remind us one more time. Yours was, what do we need to heal? Was that what it was?
Yeah. Yeah. Anything the collective needs to hear, but where are we being asked to heal right now? Like what's being healed through this now that we've been talking about it? It's like what's being healed through this expansion energy? What's being healed through us blooming and blossoming? So I have a few cards here, but the ones that I really want to start with are these circles of healing cards. And this card represents the sacral chakra. Sacral
Mm.
chakra. So the message around the outside says, my soul radiates confidence and creative potency to accomplish my sacred purpose. I heal into joyfulness. So, yeah, what we were just talking about, healing into joyfulness. The sacral chakra is our energetic center for our life force energy, our creativity, our zest for life, our purpose, our mission. It's feeling like we're waking up in the morning and we're just jazzed about who we are and what life is bringing to us and everything that we're doing. I love that it's reminding me of the sunflower. It's just looking like a sun. It has a lot of solar energy to it. And so I feel like this card kind of merges that sacral life force energy with our solar plexus energy of confidence, identity, self-worth. So I think one of the things that's being healed in the collective through this blooming process is us finding what lights us up, feeling in flow with joy. And also, I think it's going to be transforming our identity, really allowing ourselves to be like, oh my gosh, I had no idea I could actually do this. Like, it's like the doubt and fear gets to melt away as we're finding out, why was I ever afraid of being this or becoming this? Like, of course I had it in me with all along. Again, I think for me, like stepping into being a Reiki master teacher, for you designing clothing, right? There are things that we have always kind of known that we were going to do, and somehow we've never actually done them before in the way that we're envisioning them now. And I'm sure anybody listening to this, whatever new kind of thing in your life, whatever you're being called towards. I was giving someone a tarot reading yesterday, and she told me, I was like, it feels like there's some dream that's coming up. And I do have a dream card here too, we'll talk about that in a second, but I'm like, I feel like there's some dream that you've had for a long time that's finally like bubbling up to the surface. And this woman was in her 70s, and she was like, I've always wanted to write a book. I really want to be an author, but I've never written a book before. And I'm like, now's the time. And spirit was bringing this beautiful message of, you didn't have the life experience, the experience wasn't done yet that you were going to write about. So it's not too late. It's never been too late. Part of the plan was getting through what she had experienced to be able to write about it from a position of embodiment, of experiencing it, integrating everything that she went through, and then putting it into words and sharing it with the world. So it's interesting. I can see this kind of coming together now in a different way than I was thinking about before. But the card that went directly below this sacral solar plexus card is this moon card. And it says, trust in dreams, for in them is the hidden gate to eternity. And there's this talking about dreams, following your dreams will help you heal into joyfulness. And I love that it's the sun and the moon. There's such a balance here as well to these cards. It's really allowing maybe our fears, like navigating this hidden kind of energy of the moon. It's dark outside. We have a little bit of light, but we can't really see the whole journey, the whole path that we're walking towards. It's turning into the sun being fully realized, illuminated, feeling confident on our path, having all the answers, feeling that direction. It's like there's like a rainbow bridge between where we've been and who we're becoming, and we're on that path already. So I feel like that's something that's healing right now, is choosing love over fear, choosing joy over fear, right? Or over doubt. It's having that choice and finding the balance in between the two, knowing that they're both beautiful. All emotions are just teachers here. So knowing that our fear isn't here to stop us, it's here to point us towards where we're growing into next feels really important. Is anything coming up for you with those?
No, I just love this reading, how it's all about like dreams and your edges and like enjoying the like crunchiness that comes with like, I'm gonna do this dream. And then it's like I feel like so many of us have dreams that we've like kind of put back because we're scared that if we actually follow that dream and it doesn't work out, then that dream is like gone or something. And like there's that fear. But I'm really just loving this about choosing your dreams and just going for it. And I feel like there is that energy right now. There's like this new, like kind of like something coming in. I'd love to hear in the comments if there's like a dream that's been coming up for you that you're like really feeling inspired to follow right now. If this is resonating with you, that you're like, ah, this dream is really kind of tugging at me. And it really feels to me that it is part of your self-mastery, fulfilling this dream with this 33 card. So I'm just gonna throw it.
I love
I'll
it.
get that later. Yeah, that's what I'm really feeling.
I love it because when that happened, I was like, "Ooh, that card took flight. It was flying." And it's actually kind of perfect because I also I have this moth card coming up with Seek the Light. And it's perfect how the moth goes towards the moon, like the moonlight in particular. Well, I'm thinking of the Luna moth because Luna and Morpho, Luna Moth is my totem. So every time I see this card, I always think of the Luna Moth, and I love how, especially with this card, Seek the Light, it being so in the dark, it's this message of even though we're navigating the dark, even though when we are first starting a dream, we don't know how we're going to fulfill that dream. Like when we say yes, like, okay, I'm going to follow this dream, then we're like, oh, shoot. If you think about it, our life before that dream, it's all in our mind. So that dream is in our heart, it's in our mind, it's in our body, and we're feeling into it, but it doesn't really exist on the outside of us yet. It's all internal. And so that feels very safe. We can think about it and think about it and think about it and think about it from all different angles. And I think that's why so many people actually stay in that place, is there's something comforting and ethereal about dreaming. But when you choose to actually follow that dream and put it into action, that dream gets to take over your whole body and then starts having a ripple effect out on your life. And it will change the way you act, your daily habits, what you're talking about in your relationships, right? It's going to affect what comes into your home, what goes out of your home. Like it will have a ripple effect on your whole life. And so feeling the energetic reverberation of that back to you can feel a little bit daunting. It can feel scary because it's like, man, as soon as I said yes to this dream, I feel like everything is shifting and changing. And that can be just a little bit like, whoa, like it feels ungrounded because we feel like the foundations of our life are shifting slightly. And they are. So even though our body can respond with that, like, what's going on the inside, it's like we can remind ourselves, oh, yeah, I'm following my dreams. And so I feel like that seek the light feeling, that seek the light message points back to this card of remember what you're doing this for. Remember why you said yes to this dream, why you're choosing to do this. It's because you know it's going to bring you joy. You know it's going to bring you confidence. You know it's going to help you recognize yourself and who you want to be and say, that is me. I am that Alice. That is who I am. That's who I'm choosing to become. So remembering that as we're navigating the in-between space, as we're navigating the, okay, I'm following my dream, but I don't know exactly what it's going to look like. I think the moth is such a beautiful animal totem because it has wings, it can fly and can kind of flit from one thing to the next thing. And it's just kind of following what lights it up. Literally seeking the light is like, what's lighting you up right now in this moment? Instead of thinking the whole journey and all the things that you're going to figure out along the path, what is the next right step that's being asked of you right now? How can you seek that light? And then once you're kind of on that light for a little bit and you're figuring it out, then you're going to feel the shift to be like, okay, now I get to move to the next light. What's lighting me up now? What's lighting me up now? And that's kind of how we, oh my gosh, you cannot make this up. That's how we kind of navigate our path. So the card that is these two are going together, love how this blue ties together as well, is this beautiful, beautiful blue card. And I always associate the color blue with the throat chakra. So when I was going to read the message, I was thinking it was going to be something about the throat chakra, but it actually says, I nurture my dreams. That's the first thing it says. Can't make it up. I nurture my dreams along the spiraling creative path to higher fulfillment. I am nourished by hope and empowered by inspiration.
Mm.
So how beautiful that we have another dream card here talking about this spiraling creative path being nourished by hope and inspiration. The spiraling creative path is the spiral path that we walk as human beings is having our energy go outwards where we want to create and change and do. And then it comes back around where we're moving inwards again, where we want to dream and think and reflect and process. And that is the path. Again, Spirit's bringing up a rose analogy of how like an ever unfolding rose is blooming and also budding always at the same time. There's a part of the rose that is kind of being born and part of it that's also falling off. And so there's this kind of like unshedding layers, like an onion in a way, that's part of that creative process. And so with the seeking the light message, if we're trusting what's coming up for us next, that begins and we can bring that kind of inspired action to fulfillment. And then there's a new action that's budding and a new action that's budding or igniting or lighting or however you want to think about it. But that is us nurturing our dreams, just following what lights us up in every single moment, taking those baby steps every single day. And before you know it, you're going to look back and be like, look at all of the things I've accomplished. Look at how much this dream has really been manifesting for me because I've been following my joy. I've been following the light. I've been finding what's lighting me up in every single moment. And I'm just allowing myself to nurture those dreams one baby step at a time.
Mm. I love all this about dreams. Makes me so happy.
Yeah, me too. Me too. Especially because I know that this year, 2023, as we chatted about, is the year of seven. It's the year of the mystic. It's the year of miracles. And when I think of the mystic in general, or mysticism, it is kind of this hidden sort of world where we are finding forgotten wisdom or remembering wisdom that's inside of us and kind of bringing it to the surface. So there is this very dreamy energy. And in order for us to create miracles, that is a physical thing that we create. So it's like bringing it from this mystic hidden place into reality and knowing. I mean, again, this is a timeless transmission. So whenever you're watching this, let this kind of relate to you and where you're at currently. But as we're recording this, knowing that we only have maybe 4 months left, 5 months left of the year, it feels like this beautiful natural process of all the things we've moved through so far in the feeling what's hidden, bringing the subconscious to the surface, finding these dreams, knowing what they are. And then this last part of the year is for actually creating them in the 3D. And notice how much more time we've had to dive into the roots, what's underneath the surface in the subconscious. There's more time being spent there than there is perhaps actually creating it in the 3D. And it just, again, like with the tree grows its roots before you ever see the leaves, because you have to have that strength down below, that rooted, grounded knowing before you can really bloom. So I feel like that's part of what's happening too, especially with the sun and moon, like the balance. It's like going through the hidden realms in order to have things be seen. It's just a natural part of the process, which is so cool. So I want to move on to my final two cards, which I gave you a sneak peek is the rose. And I love what it says on the back. It says, "It will never rain roses. When we want to have more roses, we must plant more roses." So just, I mean, again, I love how all these cards tie together, but just like we were talking about with planting a seed, letting the roots grow, and then it blooming, this card is really reminding me that if there's something in your life, like if recently you've been in a space where you're like, I'm really not happy, I'm not feeling inspired, I'm not feeling lit up, I want to find that thing that ignites me, that makes me passionate and makes me feel hopeful and excited, but you're waiting for it to kind of come and find you. This card is kind of saying that while we can ask for help from the universe, we also have to be open to receiving. And I feel like a lot of times we block ourselves off from receiving guidance, receiving our next steps, receiving our own intuition when we are stuck in the fear place. And when we're navigating and operating from stories that are, I am unhappy, period. I can't follow my dreams, period, for whatever reason. These are statements that if you are unhappy and you're saying to yourself every day that that's who you are, it's not really leaving room open for you to become or be something else. So changing our language surrounding that of, I feel unhappy in this moment, but I am open to feeling differently, or I desire to feel this way, or I am moving into joy. I'm moving into joy. It's like just this more active statement about what we want to create moving forward. But I also just feel on like a more simple level, I feel like this card is just saying it's time to take that action. If you want more roses, plant more roses. If you want your dream to come to fruition, you have to take the steps to actually make that dream a reality. So again, it can be baby steps, planting one seed at a time, and eventually you'll have a whole garden of roses, right? So I feel like that's so beautiful. And then this final card is this rainbow card. And I love it because there's so many rainbows on my wall when we started this video today. And this card says, with perfect love and perfect trust, I open. Are we just talking about opening? Yes. I open to the unlimited blessings of the universe for the spiritual benefit of all beings. So I'm going to read that one more time. With perfect love and perfect trust, I open to the unlimited blessings of the universe for the spiritual benefit of all beings. To me, I think this is again talking about that message of trust, trusting in your dreams, trusting the heaven sent card with 33, trusting the heaven sent divine downloads, inspirations, ideas, your dreams, what you want to create next, trusting that the universe is here to support you through those, and being open to how the universe is going to bless your path along the way. It's like, okay, I've declared that I want to create this dream. I know the universe loves me and wants my dreams to become a reality. So universe, I'm asking you for help. Show me the way, help bring me the opportunities. Allow me to be open enough to feel that intuitive nudge of what's lighting me up next, what the next baby step is, and know that it really is going to benefit all beings. You benefit the world by following your dreams and by being you. When you are following your dreams, when you're creating what brings you joy, you are empowering other people to follow what their joy is, and also just sharing yours too. I really, really believe that nobody has a dream that's really just truly for them. I think when we're in our joy and in our flow and following what lights us up, it always benefits others, from seeing our art or experiencing the feeling of us in our joy as we're creating that thing, or physically experiencing or being able to take what we're creating and use it in their lives. It's just such a beautiful thing. So I love how Spirit is just bringing all of these messages together. Follow your dreams, follow what lights you up, take baby steps along the way, but do take those baby steps, take the action, and trust that you're not doing this alone. You are co-creating your dreams with the universe. You're so supported in doing so. Walking that edge between fear and faith can be so beautiful and is such an expansion, such a growth process. And I think we're really encouraged right now to allow ourselves to grow, to become that next version of us. And just trusting that we're going to be nurtured and watered and loved in the process.
I always feel like these readings are for me.
Me too.
I know they're collective, but I'm like, oh, this makes so much sense. It's resonating so much. Basically, follow your dreams, trust, and then put your hands in the air and enjoy the ride.
Absolutely. Yes. Couldn't have said it better.
I love that. Okay. Well, I feel like that was beautiful. I feel like that feels very amazing and complete. And yeah, thank you guys for joining us. And again, I'm really excited to hear in the comments if you guys want to let us know, like, what dream are you chasing right now? Or is this resonating? Is there a dream that you've been following or feels like an edge for you, or anything like that, that we just love to hear in the comments? Any feedback about where you're at energetically as you're watching this video?
Absolutely. And I want to encourage everyone to let's comment, let's empower other people's dreams, because sometimes, especially when the dream is still in the thinking phase or we haven't really spoken it out loud yet, having that validation from others, having encouragement, hearing other people reflect back to us like, wow, that's amazing. That's beautiful that lights you up. I'm so inspired by that too. It really can just add on to the abundance of everyone else's dreams. So comment your dream below, go read through everyone else's dreams, leave a little heart, leave a little comment, and let's support one another through this, because it feels like it's really time for us to birth these dreams into reality. And it makes me very excited for the collective at large. It makes me excited for the world that there's so many people being lit up by their next thing. So thank you so much, everyone, for joining us. Please don't forget to click the subscribe button if you'd like to see more videos like this one in the future. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. It really helps us out. We are sending you so much love. Follow those dreams. We're so excited for you moving forward. And we'll see you in the next one.